Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah. Bithni Allah Ta'ala, everybody in the best state of Iman, trying to stay focused and growing this deen. So just a little something that I learned or relearned from the Quran today, right? But it kind of touched a lot of the subject matters that I've been speaking about lately, and the way it brings things into a full circle. To where I was speaking, answering the brother question kind of about like marriage and why marriages and things aren't working today in the Muslim community. And, also like, the brother who, my good guy man from the UK, who had kind of commented about, the way he felt, his mind, you know what I mean? Just when he listened to the video about the sister who committed suicide, which is definitely a tragic situation. But like as a Muslim, we always want to try to look to the merciful side of things, even when it comes to a Muslim, because we want the same type of mercy from Allah Azza wa Jal, and I'm saying that to say, the way life is, a lot of people can't handle it. There's a famous athar in Sahih Bukhari, and I'm going to refer to it as an athar because it's Aisha, the one telling the story. A lot of students of knowledge and people, they won't talk about it or they'll downplay it because they don't want Muslims who don't really have a strong understanding of deen yet to use it as an excuse for suicide. Or, they don't want to encourage people to get the wrong ideas. But there's a famous athar in Sahih Bukhari. Y'all might be able to Google it. It blew my mind when I read it in like 2002, maybe, when I started reading hadith. But anyway, famous athar, where it was a period of time where the Rasul he stopped receiving revelation. And the Rasul actually went to the top of the mountain to jump off of it and commit suicide. Yeah. Due to short time, maybe tonight when I get off work, I'll probably pull it up. But the Rasul went to the mountaintop. Man, let me pull it up for y'all real quick. Okay, alhamdulillah. So there's the full version, the complete version of the hadith. You can find it in Sahih Bukhari, the last volume 9, and it's hadith number 6,982, and it's narrated by Aisha. And in this is where the hadith where she talks about how the divine revelation started with the Rasul, how they started with 2 dreams. So when you know this and you know that it didn't start with the Quran, so like when you look into the Sirah and you had the people who say, see, now it's turned into too much of a lesson, that when its prophethood started, it was with Israfil, and then the angel Jibril came and took over after 3 years, and then the Quran came. So the revelations didn't start with the Quran. The Quran started in the cave. So Aisha is talking about this hadith, how with the prophethood and stuff started with true dreams and different things like that. So then it shows, due to this what was going on, then he started to go seclude himself in the caves. And when he started to seclude himself in the cave, that's when the angel Jibril came and said, read in the name of your Lord, Bismillah. Say Bismillah and start reciting. Okay? So this is that hadith. But the full version of the hadith is a couple of pages. But when it gets to the end, it shows how when the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam went with Khadijah to meet her uncle Waraka. And when Waraka was explaining, that's the angel Jibril, this and that, you're a prophet, your people gonna run you out, right? So, but after a few days, after the Rasul went to talk to him and Waraka said he was gonna support him strongly, Waraka died. And the divine revelations was also paused for a while. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam became so sad, he started to grieve, as we have heard that he intended several times from the Rasul. This is Aisha telling what the Rasul told her. But not only to her, other people was familiar with this. Intended several times to throw himself from the tops of high mountains. And every time he went up to the top of the mountain in order to throw himself down, Jibril would appear before him and say, "O Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are indeed Allah's messenger in truth." Whereupon his heart would become quiet and he would calm down, and then he would go back home. And whenever the period of the coming of the revelations used to become long, he would do as before. But every time when he would reach the top of the mountain, Jibril would appear before him and say to him what he said before. Okay? So, the Rasul, Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, due to authentic athar, wanted to commit suicide several times. So, and the angel Jibril appeared before him and stopped him. You got a mission, man. You're a prophet. You're a messenger. Go home, man. You got a job to do, basically. But if it wasn't for the angel Jibril coming, it's a very strong possibility it would have been one. You know what I'm saying? So, although with the sister situation, man, and things, that she was going through in life, it's just unfortunate. But to get to this Quran ayat, that which kinds of speaks to how off the fitra we are, and the way with marriage and certain things, the way that goes on, and the little bit that I pointed out in the hadith, a lot of students and stuff won't even talk about it, or they'll downplay it. Oh, well, the Rasul never said it, Aisha said this, but they're going to tell you about in that hadith where it says that Angel Jibril pressed him and told him to read. You can't take that part out of the hadith and say, yeah, this the haqq, and then try to throw away the part of the Rasul wanting to jump off of a mountain and kill himself. You got to take the whole thing. But like I say, I understand why some people won't talk about it, or they won't talk about it over the internet, because there's people that have weaknesses and they might do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Now this is early on though, before what was revealed about committing suicide, and the punishments and things is going to come along with it. So no, you shouldn't do it. And Allah makes it clear He decides who He's going to forgive and who He won't forgive, depending on the circumstances, and Allah knowing these people's heart and this and that. Not saying they won't be punished, but Allah Azza wa Jal might forgive them. And then we have to keep in mind, when you look at the story of Adam and his wife, these were individuals. Adam was created with Allah's hands, as Allah says, whatever his hands consist of, right? And then He pulled his wife out of him to create her with His own hands. They talked to Allah. Allah told them directly, don't eat from this tree. Don't eat from this fruit. But Shaitan came and talked to them and they did it anyway. Adam was a prophet, man. So we inherited that same weakness. The deen could tell us not to do a lot of stuff in the Quran and Hadiths, and we noticed the word of Allah. We all had this fear of Allah, but guess what? We listen to Shaitan and do it anyway, man. So some of these people who take their own lives, man, sometimes they be overcome and they be overwhelmed by Shaitan. And by the Rasul, by this being so early on, and there's not a lot of Quran and there's not a lot of deen revealed. You think that, and he's new to this prophethood. You don't think Shaitan was whispering and trying to get him to the top of that ledge to jump off? If Shaitan affected Adam in Jannah, man, they listen to Shaitan in Jannah after talking to Allah directly. And then that's when Tawbah became a thing. So some of us are going to be overwhelmed. A prophet listened to Shaitan in Jannah, man. That's how strong the desires and the curiosity can become. He tricked them into thinking that they was going to get something better. Some of these people who feel like that they committing suicide and they be Muslim, they feel like they doing a good thing and that they're going to go see Allah. Some of these Muslims who commit suicide, they not even really familiar with enough deen and don't know that it's not permissible. Just like at the time it hadn't been revealed like that when the Rasul was going to do it. So sometimes, and it seemed like everybody may know everything, but trust me, some Muslims, man, who take their own lives, they don't even know that it's haram. They just look at it as like it's some relief. I'm finna go meet Allah. I'm finna go see my grandmother. Muslims who have these distorted beliefs like everybody who passed away automatically go to the Jannah. Oh, happy birthday, Dad. I know you in heaven looking over me every year and watching me and helping me make all my accomplishments. Oh, happy birthday, little brother, little sister. Happy birthday, Mom and Grandma. I know y'all in heaven watching over me. And these be Muslims, man. And they be thinking some of them be under the impressions if they kill themselves, they get to go be with their grandmother and they grandparents and they father and, favorite cousin who passed away, Shaitan keep them delusional. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not making an excuse for her, but I'm just saying some Muslims just don't know, and we don't know how heavy their heart is. Because you got to keep in mind, the Rasul Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam heart became so heavy and weary, he went to commit suicide several times. And the angel Jibril, man, what you do? Man, get down from here, man. You got a mission. You know what I'm saying? Go on. Get down from here. You got work to do. So sometimes, we just, regardless, and we just have to lean more towards the compassionate side and fall out of this harshness that has been instilled in us due to certain people getting a hold of a particular dawah and bringing a harshness to it for the wrong situations. And then a lot of this bickering and us being harsh towards each other, towards this imam, that imam, our nationalities and all this other stuff, man. And this Quran ayat is going to speak about that. But back to the love thing and the marriages thing, and to show how the fitrah has been corrupted. And then when you look at what Allah tell us in the Quran, and this is one of the signs in the Quran in human nature for us to understand and reflect. So again, my same cousin, man, who used to talk to me, we still talk, but it was a time when they was telling me, because this my peoples, you know what I'm saying? And she was telling me how, she had just met this dude and he was coming over to the house, she was liking him, right? And look at this though, but this is the mindset of a lot of people. And like I say, man, due to the way our parents may have loved us or not loved us, our brothers and sisters, our aunties and uncles, or our grandparents, we could have had parents on drugs or was alcoholics or just had a lot of different things going on, or they had trauma, childhood trauma, or they had mental illnesses and they didn't know how to love. They didn't like loving because they feel like love is pain. So they didn't know how to love their children. You know what I'm saying? And we may have had a grandmother, but some people, whole family may have been raised up on this type of way. So she was one who was kind of from that. So with this guy, when he come over and they go in her bedroom and he gets in the bed and he turn on a movie. And she say she automatically started taking her clothes off. And he grabbed her like, hold on, calm down. We just finna chill up here and watch a little movie. You know what I'm saying? We finna watch some movies, they indulge. So, we finna indulge a little bit. I'm finna order some food and we finna sit up here and chill and watch movies. And when I tell you, she told me, and at this particular time, she was like 38. It blew her mind. She didn't know how to process it. And she said, they sitting up there watching movies and dude pulled her close and laid her head on his chest. And, she was like, oh, okay, he giving me a hint. He want me to go down on him. And he like, she getting ready to go down on him. He pulling her up like, hold on, chill out. We finna sit back and watch these movies. We finna chill and relax. She didn't know how to process it. This is love. But she couldn't process it. She was like, and she telling me, she was like, fam, I was like, okay, is this nigga gay? Stock for loss, excuse my language. I'm still cut from it. Like, is this dude gay? Do we have erectile issues? Is he a little bitty person? Is he a minute man? What is he scared of? So then processing it, okay, well, he don't really like me. He just trying to use me for my juries. The little stuff that she had but really don't have. Like, what is he after? But her mind didn't process, man, this guy really loved me. He's treating me like a woman. And she, wallahi, and she's telling me, I didn't know that men and women, when we go get into bed, it's bedtime. It's time to get busy. I didn't know men and women laid in the bed to watch movies and women laid on a man's chest and all that type of stuff. She couldn't process it. But this was the real love. And then the more and more that he was like this with her in other areas, it was so strange to her. She couldn't process it. Man, this dude playing games with me. He trying to get me caught up on him so he can leave me. He trying to make me fall in love with me. So he trying to make me fall in love with him so I can break his heart. So he could break my heart. So then, she started trying to get vindictive and start arguments with him and play little games, try to make him jealous and talk about her ex-boyfriend, really trying to push his buttons. And dude would just be like, oh, he didn't think nothing, he didn't care nothing about it. Because she couldn't process it. She needed him to go off and BITCH, who you think you is? What you talking about? What you talking about that dude for? Was he better than me? She wanted an emotional breakdown from him. Because that meant he loved her. If he can break down, if he can go outside and be looking through my windows, no, but that probably ain't love. That's probably just a crazy, unstable person with drugs up their nose or in a system or alcohol. That could just be an unstable person. Not saying that people that love people that don't go through those type of emotions, but sometimes they just be unstable people sometimes. But like I said, what was real love, she couldn't process it. Dude would cook something, He would cook something she ain't never had, and while he's cooking, take the spoon, blow it like this, and have her taste, the sauce and all this type of stuff. She couldn't process it, man. She didn't know how to show up. She only knew how to argue, push buttons, be toxic. Oh, this dude just trying to, you know what I'm saying? And then, once they come to the actual bonding part of the things, he blow her mind instead of her blowing his. And it scared her even more. She couldn't process it. And then dude have plans of leveling them up instead of sitting around in the Section 8 and, a bunch of rental stuff. No knock to that. She couldn't process it. So a lot of times, man, in reality, some men and some women, they can't process what real love is. They can't recognize it. They can only recognize what they've taught themselves is a reality. And sometimes you will see, even with men and women, when they end relationships with somebody that they can look down on, but they want other people to look up to them, they'll make up stories in their head about this person. Like I remember, I ain't gonna go into that, but they'll try to think that person up to convince themselves to stay. But then the person where the real love is at, they start to looking for ways to sabotage it. Oh, I don't like your haircut today, but the haircut might really be turning them on. I don't like your tone. I don't like your sternness, but that might be what's really turning them on. The male and the female. The girl looking cute, his wife looking cute or whatever, he gonna tell her she don't look good because he don't want her to go nowhere else and present herself like that, and then somebody else seeing her what he sees and take her. These things be insecurities. So some people only know how to love through toxicity because they're trying not to love, but they're trying to get loved. And the way that they know how you love them, they have to push your buttons and see how stupid you can act. But at the same time, you make yourself look weak and foolish to them. And then they also say, okay, yeah, he loved me so much, I can walk over him. I can make him act stupid for me. And then when they end up in those dynamics and they can't do that, they can't recognize that. And they don't know how to adjust their nervous system because now they getting real butterflies that they can't control. They getting real heart flutters. What is these feelings? I never felt like this about nobody before, and it scares them. You see? And they will start to sabotage it because where's the toxicity? Toxicity equals love. You see? So a lot of relationships, man, is based off of these type of foundations to where everybody is out to get who can win, who can use who the most. And then that way when it ends, I can say, well, at least I didn't let him use me. At least I didn't fall in love and be head over heels and want to stalk him. I made him a stalker of me. Or I made her a stalker of me and I didn't become a stalker of her. So people come into it under these shaitanic views. But let me show you what the Quran says, what Islam says, and even how it touch in where all these people is fighting over which is the best way for black Americans to practice Islam. Should we have a new black madhab? Should we follow the teachings of Imam Wharf Deen? Is the Quran and Sunnah making us be too much like Arabs where we forgetting to build? Let me tell you something. All you got to do is look at the African Americans who's not Muslim. What are they building? What are they building, man? Where's all these worldly conglomerate factories we starting from the ground up? Where are we taking all these drug monies and buying strip malls and designing our own clothes and making our own little strip malls with our own products, with our own soaps? Where is this happening at? It's not happening. So just because we become Muslims and may throw one of these on, now y'all want to say, oh, because they got a thobe on, now they don't want to have black businesses. He wasn't even trying to start a black business before he became Muslim. But y'all need to say that because y'all have to get people to buy into some Imam Wharf Dean teachings, but y'all don't have no businesses either. Which is an institute, and then y'all usually, if y'all really official, y'all registered under Mosque Cares, where all type of grants, all type of dollar bills flow through that to pay for imams, through different grants and tax write-offs and donations from this one, donations from that one, where they still able to eat. Where are all the businesses and schools that you're talking about? But we keep getting caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? And then when people not criticizing Wharf Dean, but they're criticizing the teaching, some of the things that he's teaching that go against Quran and Sunnah. Oh no, you just want to be Arab. You're supposed to want to be proud of being black. You're supposed to want to listen to black teachers, black scholars. But then if we do listen to a black teacher or a black scholar, oh no, they teaching that Arab stuff, not Imam Wharf Dean teachings. But what do the Quran say about this type of stuff? And I come across the ayats today, even with the marriages, and then once people be able to outgrow their toxicity and really be able to grow up and be adults, because they done became so comfort in these unloving, I'm looking for signs of love, but the only way I recognize signs of love is through your stupidity for me. Male and female. I have to be in control. I have to run this. I have to be the one that decides when the relationship ends. See, and all this stuff right here is devoid of building. You can't even build a relationship up. You know what I'm saying? You can't even regulate your emotions because you sitting up head over heels over a guy and you don't like that you like a person that much. Why? Because they not going to put up with my foolishness. I can't treat them any way I want to treat them because when throughout society in America, these young girls, these young women grow up and their value is where? In these, and what's down here, and what's back here, and what they can do with this. Our value is where? Us men, where our values at? In our pockets. What type of materials that we have dangling on us? Our shoes, our clothes, our car. So it's an exchange of values. You give me what you got in your pockets, and you can have all of these, this amusement park of rides. It's turning into an exchange of values. My value is more valuable than your value because I don't lose this amusement park. All this fun doesn't go anywhere. But you can go broke. You know what I'm saying? You can run out of money. Your new clothes can get old. They can go out of style. Your jewelry can tarnish, not be polished. Your car can break down. So, time to take my valuables to somebody who hasn't lost their values, or their value may look a little bit better than yours, and then they call it being a hypergamous. And these is our dynamics. But when my cousin, when a person seeing value in actually her, I don't care nothing about your goodies. I mean, they're a bonus. You know what I'm saying? I want to sit here and watch some movies and chill with you. She can't process that. And then once, okay, well, no, he's not gay. Okay, no, he don't have erectile issues. Or he just trying to get me caught up and have me fall in love with him so he can leave me. Stuff that females do. She can't process real love. So we falling off of our fitra because these things are starting to become the natural ways, and it's passed down through DNA and through ways of life, just like Adam alayhi salam let Shaitan trick him in Jannah after he heard what Allah said to him. And he listened to Shaitan anyway. So now what do we have in us? We know what Allah say, and we are disobeyed anyway. You see what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to conquer that. Just like with Cain and Abel. Once one slew one, now murder is in the system. Now we know how to take each other off of this thing. And murder has been running rampant since the very first murder. We know how to murder now. We know how to get you gone. Now it's a thrill. It's a sport. A person to kill you over an argument. And arguing over something that wasn't even trivial. I seen a man when I was a kid. The first time I seen a person get killed in the little projects that we lived in here over a chicken leg. They was drinking, smoking, you know what I'm saying? Little powder on their nose, playing cards and gambling. And they was having a barbecue, and the lady was hanging clothes up, and we was little kids running around. They outside, they had a little table there. And they got to arguing over the last piece of chicken, which was a chicken leg. And the man jumped up and took the chicken leg anyway and took a bite up out of it. And they got to bumping, and dude stabbed him right in front of all of us little kids. And the man fell out on the ground like this, and they was trying to help him. And then he shook real bad like this in front of my eyes. Like I still can vision it. And I was like maybe 5. And you know, they try to do stuff, man, and revive him. And then the lady was hanging up clothes, because they used to hang clothes up outside, you know, in this little project area. She took one of the sheets down and covered him up with the sheet. And then I ran down to the house and got my mother. Man, come look, man, he just killed this guy out here. Murdered him over a chicken leg, man. A piece of chicken. So things get inherited. So now this stuff is starting to be the law of the land with toxic people. Even to today, right now, you can look at the internet. And now you have women trying to teach men how to recognize these signs so that you can stay with this woman and being toxic, so you can separate, oh, this really means she loves you. But sometimes these exact signs means that she's cheating. You know what I'm saying? But they trying to coach men, and men just be looking at her like, so what? It don't matter to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done with the foolishness. So it's just causing confusion. But anyway, let's get to what the Quran say. Look what Allah Azza wa Jal tell us. And this is in Surah 30, starting around Ayat number 20. So Allah says, of his signs, Allah's signs is that he created you from dust, and then you are people scattered throughout the whole earth. So imagine being created from some dust, some clay or whatever, but minimize it to dust when you know what dust is. To know that Allah took some dust and turned it into what we are today, and we scattered all over the earth. This is a sign that Allah is real. This is a sign that Allah is real. Okay? And of his signs is that he created for you mates, spouses, from amongst yourselves. Okay? We come from each other. It takes a man and a woman to make babies. Even if you go get the parts out of a woman and get the fluids out of a man and mix them together and put them in somebody else, it still took a man and a woman. So he created for us mates, spouses, from amongst ourselves. Right? But look what he say. From amongst ourselves, so that we may find comfort and love within one another. Now the law of the land is, if there's no chaos, if there's no toxicity, if there's no friction, then there's no love. Who's pleased with that? Shaitan. Because what's the goal of Shaitan and the Shayateens? Is to break up marriages and families. What breaks up marriages and families? Chaos, toxicity, friction. You understand now? You understand? So that's why the stuff that I'm saying without busting out the Quran ayats, a reason why a lot of this stuff is not working, because some people been placed up on levels of toxicity, especially from a woman standpoint, because they was 13, 14-year-old girls messing with men that was in their 20s and 25 and may had a little hustle, or they may not have no hustle, but they ain't have enough game for grown women, so they gaming little kids when they get high on marijuana, or they drinking it, got some pills in them, some powder up their nose, and now they trying to be impressive and think they grown, and then they getting their mind manipulated while they being molested, and then this is the same idiot who's sitting up, get high and drunk and powder up his nose. You ever try to leave me be, I'll kill you. They start to process that as love. Yoking them up, choking them up somewhere. You know. Just totally. And they go throughout life. Every relationship that they have has to pattern that in some type of way. Because it make them feel like they got men gone. If you're not gone over me, if you're not putting me on a pedestal, if you're not looking through windows and riding by my house talking about BITCH, where you at, I need that thrill. Because a lot of them done got the process in their relationships, or some weird individual done touched them, or, you know, just totally threw off their fitra as a kid, unfortunately. So this is how they process love. This is how they process things. And some men, I'm not putting it all on women, but even with the men, they go through this toxicity. You know what I'm saying? Or, like I said, it's an exchange of values. You think the only way through a woman's heart is to kiss butt and spend money, because that's where your value is. How much butt can you kiss? How much bowing down can you do? How much can you take your coat off and put it over a puddle of water? How many times can you stand in front of bullets? And how much money is in your pocket? And what type of jewels and trinkets do you have on that's going to catch the eye of a sucker for love? Oh yeah, you a sucker for love. These is the dynamics, man. And because we Muslims and we have to be married, right now, it's a field day for the kuffar out there. It's a field day for a kuffar out there. You ain't even got to take girls to movies and have sweet nothings. Girl, your eyes look like the glitter of rainbows on a bright sunny day with gold at the end. All that weird stuff men used to have to say. Oh, your perfume, and I drink your bath water, and all that old weird stuff. All you got to do is just have on some jewelry and one of these. And you could touch something. Put you some jewelry on. Get on Facebook, put you some jewelry on, and have you a bottle of some of these alcohols that they drink. Just have you a picture with some alcohol in a car, and they'll be in your inbox. Or they'll look at your Facebook and see, oh, okay, you was over at this gym. Now they at the gym. Or you was over there at this restaurant. Y'all kick it over there. Now they show up there with their little bitty clothes on. Clothes so little they ain't even got to take them off to have sex. But see, the Muslim can't do that. But we bringing these mentalities together and trying to call it a marriage, so that we can exchange valuables. What you willing to pay for me? Basically. No disrespect. And that's why brothers be leading, just show up with a whole pocket like this of $1 bills. All they can see is that they green. and with attitude. Text 50,000 times. Act emotional in text messages. Yeah, I got him. And then y'all could just continue to exchange valuables. Men, you worth what's in your pockets and what you have on and what you drive. Women, they're just an amusement park that's going to always be fun. These are my valuables. We don't know how to be together. So our relationships be more chaos. And then the part that's actually love, we can't recognize them, or we do recognize them and we run from it. More so women than men. And women will cloak it under, I'm just trying to protect my heart. Because I've been in toxic situations since I was 13 years old. And now I'm 50. Now I'm 51. And then when I was in situations that wasn't toxic, it made me realize how toxic I was and knew this guy wasn't going to stay, so I sabotaged it. But Allah Azza wa Jal says, we here where Allah puts where we here to be a comfort for each other. We supposed to be able to build with each other in a halal way, to where we actually growing and not putting ourselves in pits of dates. While our relationship is based off of how much we glittering and glowing for people that ain't even thinking nothing about us. These is goals. And we in all type of debts. We fighting, can't stand each other, cheating on each other. Everybody, she got 10 internet boyfriends, he got 10 internet girlfriends. Because see, one thing, even with these women, because the way that they look at themselves and look at us as we the stupid ones, they mind don't fathom, even though they are a woman that got in a man's inbox. Some of the women in relationships with men that they inboxed, but they only see how many men is in their inbox that they don't want. But your mind can't fathom how many of these women is in men inboxes. So everybody feel like they got options, men and women. And then everybody want to feel so special. Oh man, I was somewhere stranded and this guy came and picked me up. Yeah, but that same guy may also meet a stripper and don't even know, and take them somewhere else even further in worse weather, and do even more with them. Is it about you special, or they just go too far because they want some female to like them? See, it's a difference when somebody do something for you they won't do for anybody else. So they try to pedestalize things and try to leverage like what somebody need to do for them. They did even more for somebody that they didn't even know. And people just ruin relationships, trying to position themselves to be the special one. I'm the special one. The men, I'm the special one, not you. The women, I'm the special one, not you. Not we are special together. I should be just as important to you as you are as important to me. These dynamics have been lost because people are obeying the shaitan. Allah is telling us what the fitra is, but Allah continues to say, so that we can find comfort and joy with each other. And Allah planted love and mercy for each other in our hearts. Surely there are signs in this for those who really sit down and think about it. This is what we should be on. This is what we should be on, right? But it's too much dhikr shaitan. Continuing on, right? And just sit down and think about it. This is what Allah telling us it should look like. So sometimes when we feel that, we run from it, or we don't recognize it. Oh, this person actually values me, not this amusement park of valuables dressed up with fake hair to here. You know what I'm saying? Dressed up with eyelashes out to here, and rings all here, rings all here, rings all on my tongues, rings all in my life. All these adornments that dress up my amusement park of valuables. Makeup, lipstick, fingernails from here to this book. Tight jeans, tight shirts. Come on, I'm trying to attract you to this amusement park that you can't get in for free. You look valuable. Your pockets look like they should be good. This is not what it's supposed to be. That's not what it's supposed to be. Then continuing on, right? Just think about it. Like the Quran say, for those who reflect, for those who think about it, it's a sign in it for them. And also of Allah's signs are the creations of the heavens and the earth, and the differences of our languages and colors. Right? Surely there are a sign in this for the ones who are knowledgeable. And I'm mentioning that because we keep getting caught up in the colors and the language. Oh, y'all trying to practice Islam like Arabs because you speak Arabic. You speak Arabic. You focus on learning Arabic instead of getting a black business selling tobacco and vapes and beef neck bones with greens, with macaronis, with 10 cheeses and eggs and oils and all type of cholesterol, heart clogging stuff in it, in your mac and cheese, with greens that ain't clean good, with beef neck bones in them, and all this stuff, man, that's just really not for what it is. We're getting too caught up in language and colors when this is a sign from Allah Azza wa Jal. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. It's a scholar in Africa who's black. I should turn to him. How do I get to him, brother? How do I have access to him? Where's his classes? And then an Arab scholar who may sit up and say, I'm teaching the exact same class on Zoom. Come listen to me. And then a person in Africa who be like, man, and I'm just trying to keep it 100. Yeah, I'm teaching this same class, but on Zoom for $500. What are we going to do? Some of us don't have access to these other people. And we're not trying to sit around and wait. But Allah, there's a sign in this, that we spread out all over this earth, and that we have many different languages, and that we have many different colors. If they're the ones who got the knowledge and they happen to be Arabs, and we have to, it's not mandatory, but the best thing for you to do is learn the Arabic language. What's wrong with us going to get that? Oh no, learning that Arabic, memorizing the Quran, that stuff ain't gonna help our people. Okay, so what's supposed to help these people? It might not help our people, but it's gonna help me. And what's the ultimate goal in the Quran? Save yourself first, then try to save your family from a fire that's gonna be fueled by men and jinns and stones. It may not help our people, but it's going to help me. Not on a selfish level. Y'all ain't helped our people yet, for real, just to keep it 100. Okay, yeah, y'all got a couple of buildings and this and that, but if we gonna speak about reality when it comes to the real Quran and Sunnah, y'all really pulling people off of it. Respectfully. Anytime when Allah makes it clear in the Quran that covering is for a physical body, and then somebody wants to come and change that and say there's no such thing as a hijab, there's no covering for the physical body, this is a metaphor for a spiritual interpretation, and I'm supposed to take that then because he's black? I'm not finna get caught up in the colorism and the language and all that type of stuff, man. I'm gonna go get what Allah tell us to get. And it's a sign in that for the people who's knowledgeable. And y'all sitting around been arguing back and forth all through Ramadan and ain't saved not one person. Y'all ain't took not nobody or increased one person understanding. The War of Deen you ain't pulled nobody more to being closer to that War of Deen stuff. And then these other people, y'all ain't pulled nobody no further away from not wanting to fall into it. And y'all just arguing and y'all spending y'all whole Ramadan on it, trying to appease and please the people that listen to y'all. And coming together to work and build what? You on this side of the earth, they on this other side of the earth. Build something with the people who right there with you. Oh, we can't come together and build. What y'all gonna come together and build for? Y'all only know each other from YouTube. This is just a waste of time, man. So, people need to quit getting caught up in it, man. Some of these people be better off sitting down reading their Quran and getting a better understanding of it than to keep going back and forth with that foolishness, man. And the same thing with these marriages, man. Like I say, man, people, they neglect their deen. And then sometimes when one person bring the Quran side of it, then the next person doesn't know how, there's going to be a fight, an internal conflict. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have to, you know what I'm saying? Why do I have to fall off and be in the dirt to prove that I love you? That's dumb. Why? You don't manifest, just like how you can see and you listen to these women today. If a dude have a nice home and he can have this and that, and then she may not have that, she may live in an apartment, and he go over there and lay down in the dirt with her and say, you know what, I'm gonna go through the struggle and we gonna come up out of this together. To her, she sees desperation. Are you just desperate? Oh, you just hooked on this amusement park of valuables. You don't really want me. You want my valuables, and you just can't get nobody else. They can't understand, now this is somebody who's choosing you because they're used to people that can't do better than them. What actually is better than you? Just because you may feel like you cuter, that don't make you a better woman than the other one. You may have a nicer car, but that don't make you a better woman than the other one. Just like with the dude, he may have more money. That don't make him a better person than the one you want to be with. But see, some people can't process these things. So some of the things that you're doing and you trying to be a good guy, they view that as desperation sometimes. Oh man, you just a goofy man and you can't do better than me and you doing whatever it takes just because you want to ride this amusement park of valuables. But you're going to need more value in your pockets to get through. All I got to do is act like I don't like you and I don't want you touching me. And you going to kiss more butt and go get more money. This is not what Allah created us to do to each other. We supposed to be a comfort, not create chaos for control. We backwards, man. We in an inverted society. But I got to get up out of here, man. Just try to be more on the merciful side, man. Us as Muslims, man, and try to empathize with people, man. Especially when they take their own lives. Because one thing for sure, one thing for certain, it take a whole lot to kill yourself. Life it's easy for us to look at it and say, well, life ain't that bad. Because we wouldn't do it. But you always have to keep in mind, due to some authentic athar, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked up to the top of mountains several times, getting ready to end it all. And if it wasn't for the angel Jibril strengthening him, there's an extremely strong possibility he would have did it. And a lot of people a lot of students and things don't like to talk about those athars because they don't want some Muslims who have some issues to be like, well, the Rasul did it. It's cool for me to do it. So, be careful with that, man. Don't do nothing to yourself. You know what I'm saying? But through everything, friendships, marriages, brotherhood, sisterhood, dealing with people with different views of dawah, we all should just look at it through the eyes of some mercy and focus on saving ourselves first, man. We got to get it together, man, and reflect on these ayats. Allah know what's in us. He know what's planted in our hearts. You know what I'm saying? When people love each other, man, sometimes some people who wasn't raised on love or don't really recognize what love is, and they only able to recognize love through friendships. That's why some people can be in love in a relationship but don't even know how to love their own kids. You could take a woman who may have 3-4 kids, and the kid may come up to them and be like, "Mama, can I have some cookies?" They mom may go up, get out of here. Don't you see I got company? Don't you see I'm trying to feed this man a steak from this link card? You see I'm making steak and potatoes? Get out of here. Or hide the cookies and hide the juices. But this dude can get juice, steaks, fried chicken wings in a bowl with all type of fancy sauces. And I done made a hot lemon pepper honey habanero hot wing for you, baby. Mama, can I get... Boy, didn't I tell you to get out of here? They don't even know how to love their kids because they only know how to process love through a relationship, which may be toxic, which involves what? A lot of fighting, a lot of crying, a lot of who you with, call them on the phone, trying to be quiet. You may hear just a glimmer of the TV. Who that be out here back there? You know what I'm saying? And they process this as love. Because Allah did plant something in us that should be apparent. Some people don't know how to process it. They don't know how to receive it, man. And we just in that day of time, man, where people just more up on the ways of Shaitan than they is up on the ways of Islam. Alright, man, I gotta get up out of here, man. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.